Now, if you've been playing Terraria for a while and you have a PC, you've definitely heard of Terraria's Calamity mod. In vanilla Terraria, you get modes like Expert and Master, which say brutally hard for the truly brave. Haha, yeah, no, that's cap. You haven't experienced true pain until you play some of Calamity mod's hardest modes. This is where the real sweat, blood, and tears come in. This is where you'll be grinding so long and so hard you'll forget to touch grass. So if you have no self-control, do not play this mod, it's very addicting. Okay, now that the warning is over, in today's video, we're diving into the vast and thrilling world of Calamity mod, Terraria's most popular and expensive mod, and talking about the 5 NPCs it adds, including how to obtain each, how to use each, extra tips and tricks for each, and even some lore. From new bosses and bombs to powerful weapons and crazy difficulty spikes, Calamity adds a whole new layer to your Terraria experience. Whether you're a veteran player or just stepping into modded gameplay, this NPC guide will give you the direction you need so that you have a smoother and more enjoyable experience. Let's jump into it. There are a total of 5 NPCs added by Terraria Calamity mod, and the first one is the Sea King. He's obtained in pre-hard mode after the player defeats the giant clam mini-boss found in the Sunken Sea. The Sunken Sea is found directly below the underground desert and is almost fully comprised of water, so bring along a guild potion or the ocean crest from the desert Scourge, and a grappling hook or flipper so that you can move around in the water easily. The giant clam will usually be found in the center part, so swim to there. He's usually the second boss fight many players face, since he only spawns after the desert Scourge is defeated. It's a pretty easy fight, just keep moving around and shooting and that should do the trick. He'll drop a few things, most importantly the Sea King himself, who will move into your surface base if there's a vacant room. The Sea King will always be named Immedius, and according to lore, he's the 17th ruler of the Sea Kingdom of Ilmaris, and under the electric goddess Otanilu and the god of the sea. His quotes suggest Ilmaris was incinerated by Calamitus, but despite the fact that his kingdom is no more, the Sea King is still respected and powerful, which might be capped since of all possible reasons he disappeared after the kingdom's ruin, this guy was stuck inside a fucking clam for thousands of years. But anyways, he sells a bunch of awesome gear like the coral cannon, wave washer, and most notably the sand dollar, which despite its boring frisbee design is actually a great weapon to use against every pre-hard mode boss until Slime God because of its consistent damage and excellent stealth trait. A few ending things to note are that he grants a 10-minute underwater breathing buff which works in the abyss. He sells truffle worms in hard mode for 15 gold each and blood worms after the old duke has been defeated for 2 platinum each. He hates the angler like most of us, stating that he wants to kidnap him and throw him to the crocodiles, and in the mod source files he's referred to as Seaho, which I don't know man, I thought this was supposed to be a kid's game, but anyways, now that we've covered the Sea King, let's move on. The second NPC you'll encounter is likely the Bandit, who is available right after defeating Skeletron. To get her to move in, all you need is vacant housing and 1 platinum in your inventory or piggy bank after Skeletron is defeated. Pretty simple and straightforward. 1 platinum may sound like a lot for pre-hard mode, but in Calamity it's not a huge deal. There's not much lore to her, she's just a bandit. However, she does have some references to other games, like when she's named Marissa, Maribel, or Hearn, it's a reference to those characters from Touhou. And in the mod's source files, her name is Thief, a reference to the first ever Zelda game in 1993 called Link's Awakening, and how if you stole from a shop, your name would permanently become Thief. She mainly sells rogue gear like the Cincada, Glaive, and Kylie in pre-hard mode, Deep Wonder after the Calamitous clone, Glove of Precision after Plantera, Ethereal Extorter after Golem, Celestial Reaper after Moonlord, Venerated Locket after DOG, and Dragon Scaled after Yaron. So if you're playing rogue, you really want to keep an eye on her shop. She also sells a few things for any class like the Tiger Climbing Gear, Night Owl Potion, Old Die which increases luck by a whopping 20%, Thief's Dime for extra money collection, and Bear's Eye, which is a shiny ball of ice that summons a black cat with blue eyes and blue wings called Bear. Yeah, I don't know how Calamity comes up with these ideas. She also has an ability to give you back 20% of the money you lost from reforging with a Goblin Tinkerer, so after you finish reforging absolutely anything, go visit her and collect some extra money. The third NPC is a bit of a weird one. She can be obtained right after hard mode begins pretty easily and sells some interesting stuff that varies depending on your stage of progression in Terraria, the Drunk Princess. After hard mode is initiated through the Wall of Flesh's defeat, buy 1 ale from the Tavern Keep and then get either 40 blood orbs and 1 crystal shard from the Blood Moon and Underground Hallow, or 10 pixie dust, 5 crystal shards, and 1 unicorn horn from the Surface and Underground Hallow to make Fab Souls vodka. Once you have this beautiful looking item in your inventory, the Drunk Princess will move in as soon as there's vacant housing. She sells alcoholic mixtures of all kinds from whiskey, rum, tequila, and fireball to Bloody Marys and old-fashioned, white wine, and Everclear, one of the strongest if not the strongest alcohol in the world. If you've ever used ale in Terraria, you know that it gives you a drunk buff which increases one stat and decreases another, and these mixtures from the Drunk Princess all do the same. For example, Fab Souls vodka increases damage but lowers defense, fireball increases fire damage but lowers health health regen, and Caribbean Rum increases life regen, movement speed, and wing flight time, but reduces defense and makes you quote-unquote floaty, which is a fancy way of saying it screws with your movement. Like the Bandit, there's not much lore for this one, but there are a few interesting things to take note of, like how she's a princess from an unknown land who constantly drinks to forget her past. She'll also always be named Cirrus in the game because that is the name of Calamity Mod's owner, Cirrus or Fabsol, and it seems like he chose this to be his character because he's quote-unquote known to get drunk on several occasions. It's also good to know she sells unicorn horns when she's happy and in the Hallow, making holy arrow crafting easier, and she also turns into a ratable unicorn mount when the princess spirit in a bottle is used, dropped from the Devourer of Gods. Oh, and by the way, her game file name is Fap, a very interesting choice. Second to last, we have the fourth NPC, who's the Archmage. He's always named Permafrost and is obtained early hard mode right after the player defeats Cryogen and there's vacant housing. Now don't worry, there's actually lore on this one. According to the bestiary, he's an expert on magical theory and a renowned mage who's traveled with Yaram's entourage, acting as the Godseeker's advisor because of his mage status and distaste for war. In the Ice Biocenter lab, he has an entire Draydon log dedicated to him in which it talks about cryogenic ore and its creation, as well as the Archmage and his relationship with Yaram, who if you don't know is the main antagonist of Calamity Mod and the one who supposedly wrote all the lore items dropped from each boss. The Archmage sells a ton of items for each class, like the Absolute Zero for melee, Frostbite Blaster for rangers, Cryophobia for mages, Cryogenic Staff for summoners, and Ice Star for rogues, as well as items like his Concoction which revives you, Magical Scarf and Hat which turns you into a snowman, and Blood Runes which are used for the Ice Barrage weapon. If you're buying Blood Runes or something else from him which can be expensive, make sure to increase his happiness first to save yourself some money. He dislikes the Desert Bomb and likes the Snow Bomb for obvious reasons, and prefers to live with the Wizard once again for obvious reasons. Lastly, in the game files, his name is Dilf. I'm starting to see a pattern here. Last but not definitely least is none other than the Supreme Brimstone Witch, Calamitous. Yes, this is the same final boss you fight in Calamity Mod, the one who destroyed Ilmaris and the same one who spawns enemies like Soul Seekers and Sepulchres, the most horrifying enemy in Calamity Mod. She moves in right after you defeat her boss form. Lore-wise, she was one of Yaram's most powerful mages and was recruited late into the war. Her power is so immense that she became incapable of casting normal spells and spiraled out of control. Now, despite her great power, she prefers not to use it since it takes a large toll on her sanity. She doesn't sell anything but instead allows you to enchant your items. It's kinda like a Goblin Tinkerer Reforged Part 2. To enchant something, talk to the witch and click the enchant dialogue option, then place your item in the box here and choose your enchantment. Keep in mind this process is not free and the witch charges 20 times an item's sell value to enchant and disenchant. Aw hell nah. It can be a lot of money, but after all it's endgame, and plus the price can be lowered with the discount card or greedy ring. There are many different enchantments, each with its own symbol. It goes Aflame, Ephemeral, Withering, Resentful, Bloodthirsty, Persecuted, Lecherous, Tainted, Oblatory, Traitorous, Indignant, and Hellbound. There's way too many enchantment types to go into each one, but examples of some are Persecuted, which spawns demon portals, Hellbound, which causes your minions to explode, and Ephemeral, which adds in an exhaustion statistic and bar. There's also an additional type called Exhume, which is a special type of enchantment sorta like the Calamity Mod version of the Shimmer from vanilla Terraria. When you first press the enchant dialog, you'll receive a Brimstone Locust which marks items in your inventory that can be exhumed by highlighting them in a white-purple energy. There are only 5 items that can be exhumed: the Community, Burning Sea, Entropy's Vigil, Ghastly Visage, and Mechworm Staff. They respectively turn into the Shattered Community, Rancor, Cinders of Lament, Gruesome Eminence, and Metastasis, which summons that terrifying Sepulchre thing I hate. Anyways, the mechanics of enchanting and the enchantments are pretty detailed, so I'll make a separate video for them later. And that's it, all 5 NPCs of Terraria Calamity Mod summed up in this video. For each I went over obtainment, uses, lore, and any extra tips and tricks, plus some useless but interesting knowledge. By the way, if you guys enjoyed the Terraria Jeopardy I did a few months back, I have good news for you. Solar Moon got us together and released another fire video on his channel with people like me, Raya, Bohemus, and more. Here's a quick clip.
Oh, I'm an idiot! I'm an idiot! No, I'm dumb!
What do you mean?
I'm dumb! I'm dumb! I'm dumb! I'm dumb!
I made a short about this.
What?
I'm smart.
No way.
I'm-
Yo, Ryan, you might have some competition for last place.
Yo, it's been like 5
Honey,
questions. It's been 5
Competition
questions.
for last place is crazy.
Wait, now that I think about it, why is this a trend, Ryan?
Yeah, exactly. Don't blame me, it's Ryan.
Anyways, if you need something to watch while you go eat, check out that video because we had plenty of fun, and comment how many questions you got right. The video will be linked in the top right and in the description below. If you guys enjoyed this Calamity Mod video, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments so I can cover more Calamity content like this. Until next time, peace.